Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 15th edition of Carolina Week,
we'll take a look at training UNC tutors and what the man in charge of student-athlete services says that means for the ongoing NCAA football investigation.
And a recent ranking shows Carolina behind NC State in the likelihood of recent alums finding jobs. We'll explore the reasons why.
In sports, we preview this Saturday's football game against Georgia Tech and show you a Tar Heel who's taking his game to the next level.
Weathercaster Carl Barnes will tell us if we can expect good weather for the game this weekend.
All that, and we'll tell you about a former UNC athlete who's about to get some national TV attention. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
We all know what tutors aren't supposed to do for Carolina athletes as an investigation into possible academic misconduct continues. Good evening, I'm Eddie Sykes.
And I'm Andrea Ludka. Thanks for joining us. So what are tutors supposed to do, and who makes sure they and the student athletes are following the rules? The man in charge says the guidelines are very clear.
That man is John Blanchard, Senior Associate Athletics Director for Student Athlete Services. He says there shouldn't be a question about what tutors can and can't do for student athletes.
You know, we really don't want them to take pen to paper. We don't want them writing on students' papers. Editing and proofreading is fine, but it's got to be their ideas, the students' ideas.
With stringent NCAA regulations dictating what freedoms tutors do have, Blanchard says transparency is his most important priority.
We've always partnered closely with faculty. The director has a faculty advisory committee. The athletic department, the chancellor has a faculty athletics committee. So, no, we're open and we've got nothing to hide, and we want to keep getting better.
Blanchard is optimistic that the academic support program will bounce back from the issues raised during the university's investigation. He says improvement will start with a general review of the program and culminate with a grand opening of the new academic support center scheduled sometime in August.
Basketball season is still 2 months away, but the Carolina Athletic Association wants students' input about this ticket policy. Visit the website anytime before September 30th to learn about the 4 new ticket policy options. Then click over to the Student Ticket Center on tarheelblue.com and log in with your PID and password to take the men's basketball ticket policy survey. You can decide how many tickets each lottery winner should get, as well as whether seating should be general admission or reserved. The right northbound lane to 15501 in Chapel Hill near Old Mason Farm Road will be closed for several hours daily because of road construction. The lane will be closed from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. during the week until September 24th. To prevent traffic delays, the lane will be open in the morning and evening. Drivers should use caution when driving through construction work areas.
Although North Carolina's average SAT score increased by a mere 2 points from last year, SAT scores in the Chapel Hill Carborough City schools are the highest in the district's history. The school's district's average SAT score was 1194 for math and reading, which is an increase of 15 points from the 2009-2010 school year. East Chapel Hill High School test scores ranked first, and Carborough High School followed with test scores that put the Jaguars in second place.
After the resignation of the chairman and vice chairman of the Duke College Republicans, 2 former members still feel the organization needs to learn a lesson. Justin Robinetter claims to have been impeached by the Duke College Republicans because he's gay. It's been 5 months since that happened, and Robinette will stop at nothing to get the justice he says he deserves. Last week, the Student Senate voted 20-3 to defund the club, but student body president Mike LaFerve vetoed this action. If the club were to be defunded, Robinette says, it won't stifle the Republican presence on campus. Robinette just wants a small gesture to ease the torment he says he and others have endured.
UNC lands yet another top spot in college rankings, coming in 6th on Newsweek's list of most desirable colleges. Newsweek judged desirability by admission test scores, student-to-faculty ratio, retention, as well as things like climate, facilities, and dining. UNC had a 21% increase in applicants in the past 5 years. 80% of those admitted last year were in the top 10% of their high school class. Students not only want to come, but they want to stay. UNC keeps 86% of students until graduation. No other school in North Carolina made the list. And for a complete list of Newsweek's most desirable schools, visit our website, carolinaweek.org.
The Wall Street Journal's list of job recruiters' preferred universities shows UNC in the top 25, but just barely at number 25. Universities that beat UNC include NC State, which is ranked 19th. The Director of University Career Services, Ray Engel, joins us in the studio. Mr. Engel, why is Carolina lower on that list than we might have hoped?
Surveyed employers who can forecast how many people they're going to hire in the coming year. And so the industries tend to be things like engineering and accounting. And if you took out all of the schools above UNC that had engineering degrees, we would be number one.
I see. So do you think that list is an accurate reflection of how prepared our grads are to enter the workforce?
I really do think it's an accurate list because we are truly the only liberal arts institution there that doesn't have engineers. So, and basically they're comparing our grads to people who are bright like engineers.
And how does your team at University Career Services work with recruiters to find job candidates at UNC?
You know, we have a variety of services that we offer to recruiters, including things like career fairs, on-campus recruiting, the opportunity to post jobs and internships, and different more informal events such as networking events.
What do recruiters look for when hiring recent graduates?
The National Association of Colleges and Employers tends to put out a survey each year saying that these are the main skills that we look for, and those skills are always including things like good communication skills, teamwork, leadership, and I think those are hallmarks of the UNC graduate.
How can graduating seniors make themselves marketable to job recruiters?
I would just tell students to keep doing what they're doing, developing the skills that employers are looking for, and be patient in these tough economic times. It may take a little bit longer.
All right, well, that's the Director of University Career Services, Ray Engel. Thanks for joining us.
Coming up, we'll tell you how one woman uses her personal tragedy to help others.
And a new art gallery on Franklin Street celebrates North Carolina's history.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Just 3 granules of lead dust can harm your child. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back.
Are you with your friends? That's lame.
We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about?
Something I did?
Are you on your way to the mall?
I'm lonely.
Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Many people deal with the pain and grief of a loved one's suicide every day. Reporter Alexandra Press brings us personal stories of those who strive to bring this sometimes taboo issue to the surface and create a supportive community on campus and beyond.
I just never even thought it would happen to us and to my family, and you know, that day is just like burned into my brain, you know, the day that I found out. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention I've been involved with since the beginning, since I lost my mom. A lot of suicides don't have to happen, especially among youth that just feel like they don't have any help. But, you know, that's why we're here to promote suicide prevention, especially on college campuses.
I personally have one loss from suicide, I'm very motivated to support this cause, and I think that suicide is something that not a lot of people are willing to talk about.
The best thing, and this is what we're doing right now today, is to get all this out in the open, not feel any shame about it, not apologize, just simply recognize this as a reality.
My son and brother-in-law's lives were lost, along with many hopes and dreams of us, their family and friends.
And us being here today proves that we all want to do something. We're not just here for this one event. I think it's because you want to do something more.
I want to do anything possible to prevent other people from going through that experience. And so I started something called the Triangle Consortium for Suicide Prevention.
I think a lot of times people who have these thoughts think that no one will miss them, and you know, like in the case with my mom, that's obviously not true. We all miss her and we all love her.
Well, if you or someone you know needs some help, there's a link to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline on our website, carolinaweek.org.
We told you Monday about plans for a mosque in Chapel Hill, but some area residents might not be as receptive to the idea as organizers hoped. UNC's Muslim Students Association currently uses the Church of Reconciliation on North Elliott Road for its services. The group plans to move to Chapel Hill's first mosque on Stateside Road once the project is completed. Still, not everyone is excited about the possibility. Readers posted several comments following an article in the Fayetteville Observer, but area Muslims say those comments are coming up from uninformed people, and local organizers don't anticipate any major problems.
It's been almost 5 months since UNC student Sarah Isaacson got kicked out of the ROTC program for coming out as a lesbian. Now, Isaacson continues to lobby for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the policy that prohibits openly gay individuals from serving in the armed forces. She'll travel to Washington, D.C. today to speak with lawmakers to get help getting a reform bill passed. She said she'd still like to serve in the Army if lawmakers repeal the policy. Isaacson has already made 2 lobbying trips this year and will return from her D.C. trip on...
For 8 or 9 years, and that's not something that was able
Isaacson
to
has
go
already
right
made 2
when I
lobbying
came to
trips
terms
this year and will return from her D.C. trip on Saturday.
Frank Art Gallery opened on Franklin Street in April and has been thriving ever since. Frank is no ordinary art gallery. It's owned and operated by a collective of 26 artists who all volunteer their time. It has everything from pottery to paintings and even jewelry. Right now, the gallery is exhibiting the North Carolina Clay Invitational, featuring 33 different artists representing the entire state. The exhibit contains a wide variety of pottery, including abstract, contemporary, and even historical pieces. Well, weathercaster Carl Barnes joins us in the studio. Carl, how's the weather out there?
Well, we are starting to see the tropics pick up a little more in activity. And coming up just after the break, I'll let you know if we're going to have to be concerned about any of that or if we're going to have clear skies for the weekend.
All right, and the UNC alumnus who founded Hulu has earned a spot as one of Vanity Fair's most influential people. All right.
Congratulations. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here.
Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. Sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
There's also an extended warranty option. There's just no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test that you needed at the doctor, so you won't be around in 2 years. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. Fuego. No hay nada para tu pobre conejo asustado, a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I am forecaster Carl Barnes, and it does appear that we are starting to see a little more tropical activity after the break we had for about a week in there after Earl and Fiona passed. But as far as North Carolina is concerned right now, we do have sunny and hot conditions, and those look to continue through the week, but we should have a pretty pleasant weekend ahead. All right, taking a look now at the tropics, this is what we're most concerned about down here, Igor and Julia, although we do have Carl back here. Not Carl like me, though. This is Carl with a K back here, but it's looking like it should just pass right across Central America into the Pacific, so it shouldn't affect us too much. But as far as Igor and Julia are concerned, both of them are somewhere in the area of strong Category 3 to weak Category 4 hurricanes. And as we take a look at the track that we're expecting for Igor, which is our main concern out of the two, it is going to move right up here along the eastern part of the United States, should stay somewhere 600, 700, 800 miles offshore, so it shouldn't be a main threat. The biggest threat it's going to pose is right to Bermuda, which is right in this area. So if you have any friends or loved ones in Bermuda, you might want to give them a call and just make sure that they do have everything under control. Taking a look at the satellite, what you're going to see is we have clear conditions pretty much over the entire eastern half of the United States. Very few high clouds in places, but overall sunny. And this is why right here we have this high pressure system sitting right here over western North Carolina. What that's doing is working to keep all the clouds out of the way. That's going to allow plenty of sun to beat down during the day. That's why we're having such high daytime temperatures. But at night, all that radiation and heat from the sun is lifting right back up into the upper atmosphere, and that's what's allowing it to be cool, really comfortable nights. All right, so tonight, just like I said, we are expecting to be mid-60s, which is extremely comfortable, maybe just a light jacket or something like that if you're going outside, and calm conditions as far as the wind's concerned. As we head back into tomorrow, just like expected, we're going to warm back up very rapidly once the sun comes out into the probably lower to mid-90s all around the triangle, and we are going to have pretty breezy conditions with some gusts probably reaching all the way up right around 15 miles per hour for tomorrow. All right, if you're heading to the beaches this weekend, our Saturday forecast for the Outer Banks, we have 74. That is because it's a little more of an exposed area. We are expecting high winds, not as a direct result from Igor, but as a result of the high winds. We are going to see pretty large wave action out there in Hatteras, 4 to 5 feet. And as you move on down to Wilmington, we're going to see a little bit warmer conditions since it is shaded from a bunch of the wind, and again, pretty high waves. So if you're going to be heading out on a craft, just make sure to heed any small craft warnings or anything like that. If you're staying in the triangle instead, you might be heading to the football game at Keenan Stadium on Saturday against Georgia Tech. What we are expecting is 8 a.m., maybe by the time you're heading out there to do some tailgating. We are expecting it to be pretty cool with just a little bit of sun, but maybe a few scattered clouds here and there. But you might want to bring a jacket. And then as we approach game time, you're probably going to shed the jacket. It should be around 80 degrees and sunny, very, very comfortable for the game time kickoff. Let's take a look at our 5-day weather forecast. What you can see is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're expecting mostly sunny conditions, maybe just a few high-level clouds Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday and Monday, the sun is going to come back out. And heading into the end of the week, we're expecting those temperatures to keep cooling down. And then Saturday, we're going to see those temperatures drop all the way down to the mid to maybe even lower 80s. Very, very comfortable for the game. And then maybe just a little bit of a heat up as we head back into next week.
All right, Carl. Well, we all want great weather for this week, but what about that Hurricane Igor? How's that looking?
I really don't think it's going to pose too much of a threat for us. It should stay well off the coast.
All right, thanks, Carl. The UNC alumnus who founded Hulu has earned a spot as one of Vanity Fair's most influential people of the information age. Jason Kilar comes in at number 48 out of 100 on the list that Vanity Fair publishes every year. Students got a chance to see the 1993 graduate when he spoke at UNC this past year about how Hulu will move into the future of media, including with advertising.
We actually let users choose at the commercial break.
Kilar is currently the CEO of Hulu, a video service that hosts more than 1 billion videos per month.
All right, now joins us Justin Page. Justin, what's going on in sports?
Well, a lot of things going on, actually, Andrea. A lot of games this weekend, and the football team, they have their home opener. Coming up after the break, we'll show you what to expect when the Heels take on Georgia Tech on Saturday.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards?
1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me, spin me.
Got you.
Oh, goodness.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, I stole a cheeseburger once on my dog.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. In just 3 days, the UNC football team plays its home opener against Georgia Tech. Now, on Monday, we reported that running back Sean Drone had been cleared to play this Saturday. The team had hoped to clear other players in time for the game, but for now, none of the remaining 11 players has been cleared. We'll keep you updated if the situation changes. Meanwhile, this Saturday, Carolina faces a Yellow Jackets team that lost to unranked Kansas last week. But the Heels should still have their hands full. That's because during the offseason, the Jackets hired former Virginia coach Al Groh as their new defensive coordinator. Now, you might ask why that makes a difference. Well, last year, Groh's signature 3-4 defense dominated UNC at Kenan Stadium. The Cavs harassed TJ Yates all day and held Carolina to only 3 points. TJ was really sore for a while after that beating. Now, the 3-4 defense is pretty common in the NFL, but has been known to cause headaches for college offenses. That's because instead of using the usual 4 linemen and 3 linebacker set, the 3-4 only uses 3 linemen and 4 linebackers. This situation creates a much faster pass rush, as you see the arrows, from the outside. So Yates and the offensive line better be prepared. The Heels and Jackets kick off Saturday at noon. One UNC tennis player is getting some international exposure. Sophomore Jose Hernandez will represent the Dominican Republic this Friday against Canada in the Davis Cup up in Toronto. Reporter Rachel Nash gives us an inside look.
Jose Hernandez has a golden opportunity, and he's ready for it.
Being around the professional players, that atmosphere is amazing.
It's serves like this one that Hernandez hopes will give him the edge in Davis Cup play. UNC assistant coach Trip Phillips structures practices to prepare Hernandez for this Friday.
He's practicing inside when the other guys are outside because his Davis Cup match will be inside, and we'll have 2 or 3 guys play him so that he gets to play 5 sets against, fresh bodies.
Here's the draw for the Dominican Republic in the Davis Cup. They've made it to the second-round playoffs in their group. If they beat Canada, the Dominican Republic will earn points towards next year's Davis Cup. More points means a higher ranking. Hernandez's father, John Garcia, flew in to watch the practices leading up to the Davis Cup. Garcia says he's ready to see his son play.
Davis Cup is always what the players want to do for their countries. So for us, it's just great that he is able to stay at the level that he's considered to be part of the national team.
Hernandez will play singles and doubles. He says although his opponents look better on paper, he'll still get the W.
In tennis, you decide on the course. I'm going to do my best to win the match and get the points to my country.
It's a bold prediction. We'll see if he can back it up. In Chapel Hill, I'm Rachel Nash, Carolina Week.
Hernandez says he does have some experience with international play. At the junior level, he played in 3 Grand Slams and was ranked 37th in the world. This past weekend was a quiet one in Chapel Hill, as nearly every Carolina sports team was on the road. But this weekend, most of the teams are right back in action right here in the Triangle. The defending national champion women's soccer team looks to build on its undefeated season. Allie Hawkins and the rest of the team take on Middle Tennessee State on Friday at 3 and Florida on Sunday at 12. Meanwhile, the field hockey team will also try to remain perfect. Kelsey Kolodziejczyk. You'll see her right here in a second with a goal. She'll try to score more when the team plays Old Dominion Friday at 6 and William & Mary on Sunday at 1 at Henry Stadium. Women's volleyball returns to Carmichael for the weekend. After playing last season at the Green Dome, the girls faced Ball State Friday night and then double up Saturday with games against App State and Temple. Busy weekend for them. And fresh off Friday's win against NC State, the men's soccer team has a huge game Friday night in Durham. The guys take on Duke in the first event of this year's Carlisle Cup. The game is worth 1 point in the annual competition between UNC and that school down 15-501. Carolina won 14 points to 12 points last year and will try to make it 4 in a row this year. So we certainly wish the men's soccer team the best of luck, and all the other teams as well. Get out there and root for your Heels.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend, Justin.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a recent UNC graduate who's making his debut on a hit TV show tonight.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
I understand you need a little help with your mortgage. Want to avoid foreclosure. Candy? Well, you know, you're in luck. We're experts in this sort of thing. Mortgage, rigmarole, whatnot. Why don't we get a contract? Who wants a contract?
Here you go, Pete.
Thanks, Betty.
Write a toner.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
Do you think you have what it takes to make it in the real world?
From roughing it in the jungle to recording tracks in the Nashville studio, one UNC alumnus is doing his best to make his mark in life. Diana Holloman has the story.
On the surface, Chase Rice might seem like your typical UNC football player. His skill and strength took him to the collegiate level on the playing field, but Rice's determination and perseverance is what makes him anything but ordinary.
Hey y'all, I'm Chase Rice, former North Carolina football player, but always a Tar Heel. Make sure you tune in Wednesday nights, CBS at 8 o'clock for this season of Survivor Nicaragua.
You heard it correctly. Rice will be competing on Survivor Nicaragua, which premieres tonight.
On the football team, you deal with so many people. Even on the team, it teaches you the teamwork thing with all your teammates and stuff. On Survivor, you need to have teamwork in your blood somehow.
Just 2 years ago, Rice was playing football for UNC on this very field. But what is Rice up to now? This Southern gentleman is pursuing another lifelong dream.
Our senior year, started writing songs, and people were liking what I was writing, so I was just like, oh, this is kind of fun.
You might have heard Rice singing at Bob's, UNC Dance Marathon, or even at Players, where he held his album release party. So whether it's listening to Rice sing at one of his favorite spots in Chapel Hill, or watching him outwit, outplay, and outlast his competition on Survivor, this Tar Heel has a future that far outshines the lights of Kenan Stadium. In Chapel Hill, I'm Diana Holloman, Carolina Week.
You know, that's a really interesting story. Funny story, I actually had a dream of joining Survivor myself once.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I could probably handle the wilderness atmosphere. I was a Boy Scout once upon a time, and I don't think I could handle the difficult stuff that they have to deal with.
Well, I hope that works out for you, Eddie. I sincerely do.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching, and good night.